In today's video, I'll be explaining the hopper dropper timer. For guys who do not know what they do, they basically consist of controlling time, whether if you build something out of redstone or not. Like this one here, like this workable digital clock. When you press one of these buttons, you get this. You get this linear algorithm. It's not fully done yet, but that's part of the build. And then basically you have the super stopwatch, which can actually count down to 10 to 1 to 0. Come here, press this button right here, and watch the show. For instance, watch it glow. Come to the back here, you'll notice all the repeaters are hooked up. That's because they're repeating a same line match together. Now, this one here does not involve using hoppers or droppers. Just basic redstone repeaters and redstone dust torching. But we're going to show you guys the basic ways of what they do. Firstly, if you guys are beginning to Minecraft Redstone, then take this time right to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Okay then, first let me show you a basic example of what I mean with this. So for Redstone beginners, for example, sorry guys. Okay, for redstone examples, if you basically place a piece of redstone line right here, if you place two repeaters and place one facing that way, light up redstone, you get two repeaters that are light up, but this one is not. Trick is, be sure you connect one, and that should connect as well. When you do the torch, it basically keeps it lit up. Basically, that's a basic algorithm right there. My question is how? Well, for instance, to basically control time, we're going to be grabbing some basic stuff about hoppers to droppers. So, firstly, grab yourself a dropper, then grab yourself some hoppers, sticky piston, redstone blocks. And then for the luckers, if you want to, redstone dust and redstone torch. And then grab a specific item you want to place. First step is you want to place at least a dropper facing this way with a piston. And then you want to place a redstone block here. When you place an object, for example, when you place an object in here, it doesn't do that thing. So for idealism, place on top. And place a hopper on top as well. When you add something in there, it basically detects the dropation points. Or when you add redstone, it does not do nothing. Now, what's the point of this? When hopper or clock timers basically detect whether something goes wrong, then they'll have a basic point of view on this. See, let me go back. Let me go all the way back to my Minecraft build. This may take a while, guys, to find it where I did with it. Alright, sorry about that. But if you look closely at the algorithm that you built, the algorithm basically states that there's nothing that can actually delete the Lazarus effect, which can cause millions of derivation points to be scored off. Like, for instance, when you build an infinite loop clock circuit, that is also known as that's also a timer. For this right here, this oscilloscope is also not a timer. This is an infinite timer. So learning timing and learning about timidity, you can actually write down many cause and effects for this one as well. I want to show you one of my other builds from here. I built from the Minecraft wiki. As you can see, these are piston builds, piston doors, but we want to go all the way to the pulse circuits. So the pulse circuits are basically one of the other ones. So let me show you. Here's our pulse circuits. We want to go to the dropper hopper time clocks, let's see if we can find. Let's look here. Oh, here we go. If you look closely, we build these timers right here. Let's look closely first. As you can see, this one here takes a little delay to 0.1 seconds in states. Now, for this trick right here, if you want to build it, we're going to build this in a minute. We're going to build it actually right now. So, the first item you want to do, you want to go ahead now and we're going to replace a block. So, we're going to grab a block. So, grab any block you want. So, we'll take a birchwood block, and then we'll need some redstone comparators. Let's see, comparators. First step you want to do is you want to place down your item first. So, first step is place a block here. Then we'll basically do a diagonal piston. And then have a redstone block facing that way. Then for your trick, have a piston, sticky piston like this, and then do another diagonal. And then, see here. Then you want to have redstone dust coming down. Good job. Alright then, now for this one here, just follow using comparators. So comparators, have a comparator facing into the piston, into the block, and have another one here. And then place a dropper. And then you always want to have them connecting together. It's going to take a while. And then have the other one facing that way. So there, basically take your time putting the comparators down. Then you can add the hoppers, sorry. Then add these together. Alright, then now how this works is when you place an object inside of a hopper, you get this. Now this is infinite. This is called a hopper timer. See, the reason why is because these two hoppers are connected together, while the timers is the comparators actually. And you see that little small density here? This right here is our redstone pulse density. It symbolizes the angular frequency of an infinite loop pulse circuit. So drawing concepts is, this one here goes really fast, this one goes slow. Then if we come over here, this one basically delays in like 2 seconds. Same thing as the other one. Same thing as this one right here. But for this one, this is the dropper circuit. You have to delete one of the items in order to work again. And then by deleting another item, it goes back. So not a big fan. Also, another cool thing about this is now command blocks are also common as well. But let me show you another build. I'll show you another build. I'll show you an example of a slow departure of the clock. So you want to basically start by placing a block here. You want to place a block there, then you want to skip at least 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to skip at least 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces at that block there. Then place 1, 2. Place that right there with a piston, and then place another row 2. We'll look at this again. No, I'm sorry, I changed that back. Place a piston. Place a piston. Alvin. Place a piston like this and like this, and then 2 redstone dusts, and then you want to have 2 comparators. One facing this way, one facing that way. Now the reason why is because these blocks are not detected together, so we not know which pulse it's getting through. But we want to repeat the same thing again as the coppers are. So grab the hoppers, and then first of all, I don't want to fix that. Like I said, guys, take your time placing the hoppers down. Good job. And then, there you go. And then place redstone block there, and then you're ready. Now, we don't have any objects to place, but we're going to place this little arrow right here. Now watch this. The same thing again. Is that the reason why is because what's in here, well, we put in a number. We put in the amount of objects in there. Basically takes a few seconds, and it goes back. We'll only put 1 object in here. Sorry, that does that. So compared to this right here, this one goes fast at least a lot of seconds and frequency. So for this, I'm gonna place down a wooden sign. You don't have to do this part, but if you want to, you can. I'll place a birchwood sign so you actually see it. We call this hopper timer circuits. That has 0.01 seconds, and then for this we'll put in angular pulse. As you can see, hopper time circuit 0.01 seconds and angular pulse, meaning it keeps going fast forever. Same thing for this one as well. This one is called a hopper timer circuit as well. But this one here, yeah, 0.00 second state. So the state of deviation, if you want to, we can go ahead now. We can place that it over score. We can place in that this is actually measuring temperature. The temperature like this can actually tell us the redstone block can detect more or more efficient objects. Sorry about that. But anyways, what we can tell is that if we place an object, if we place how many objects that's inside of the momentum state of a hopper timer circuit, we get to pick 2 or more efficiencies. So build your hopper circuit again by placing. I suggest placing the hoppers down first before adding the rest of the build. Then comparators, then add the blocks. Then add the idle to both of them. And then coming here, add a sticky piston right here and right here. Block, and then adding redstone to it. Now instead, come right here, we want to place this right here. We want to place a drop. We want to place a dropper here. No, actually, we want to place. We'll do the droppers later. But right now, place the redstone torch right here on both sides. And then if you put an object here, you get a cool trick. So let's see here. We will be. So let me show you this. So if you look closely, these burn up the redstone torches. So that's this example. So hopper timer circuits, and then has a burnout delay, because we placed two redstone torches on the back of them, and we get this. So burnout delay, and then for this right here, I say it'll give us 0.31 seconds in kilometers. So that tells how the redstone torch can go travel. But if we actually put at least a ground amount of objects, you see how it's turkey? Go to check out again, and then place in a minimum total of 64 of your objects if you want to. You get this. It counts again. Now basically stops for at least I think for 1 minute and 4 seconds, because we placed 64 items in there. So it basically slows it down. So for this next one, we want to put this right here. This one here, we'll put hopper timer circuits that slows down time. Here's the problem. Slows down time states. In 1 minute 64 seconds. So when you place at least an object in there, or depending on the number frequency, it slows down the time. So another cool way that can actually take time is that if you look at the basic algorithm of a hopper timer circuit, you'll notice that one of the objects here is that these comparators are still glowing up. Well, a glitching effect can also be helpful. For instance, for this next one, if you want to, for instance, place a block here, then have a comparator facing that way. No, have a comparator facing that way, and have a comparator facing in that way as well. And then watch this cool trick. Then create this right here. Then create the hopper timer circuits, and then add 2 droppers on those with hoppers in them, and then add another comparator. See, and then if you want to add a piston. Now add the piston next to the comparators, and then add the redstone block, and then basically redstone. Don't put any redstone on top of there, otherwise it will break it will basically trigger the circuits. And then place another block. Place 2 more of these blocks here, but this time add. Now for this time here, grab a different block When we grab ourselves some, let's see here, fence gates, and then place one on those blocks. And then there you go. And then all you do is, if you want to, place an object inside of the hopper, one of the hoppers, text that, and then if you place an object in here, you get this. The comparator does not do nothing. Well, delete the block and then make the mark. Now these both should detect. Same the other one as well. When you stop it, you get this. Object out. Because look, put a comparator where the original state is not supposed to be at. So that is known as a non-timer effect. When you put an object inside of a hopper, or when you try to disconnect a circuit between a comparator and the piston, then the block will stop moving, and you'll create basically you'll create a freezing time effect. So this is what happens when this is freezing time. So that's known as a freezing time effect. So put in freezing time effect. Basically slows, no, actually freezes time. So this freezes time. Now, okay then. Another cool feature about this is you can actually make a staircase with this. Just make one staircase like this, and then have a comparator coming out. Have it coming out this block right here, and then make the circuits. So anyways, you have that there. Now place the pistons right here to where the block is. And then place another piston here. And then place redstone. Just on the back here. And then you have this right here. Now we're going to do something a little different. You basically want to add, now for this right here, you want to add a dropper here. And then add a hopper to this one as well. Come in your inventory and then place an object in there and watch this. Watch what happens. Nothing. Well, we haven't detected yet. So the object's safe in there. Delete, but if you delete it and if you basically come back here, you can add a comparator and then add a comparator to here. And if you add an object inside of there, watch this. 2 seconds, and it texts them. Text them both. Now, see how I place a comparator here that doesn't detect anything? Because the signal has ended here. So only these three comparators can actually detect the object. So basically, the reason why is because, watch. I want the horse. I'm gonna come again. I'm gonna come to that one comparator. Take the object out again, and see how it goes fast. So we're gonna put in non-detectable. Wait. Non-detectable. Timer circuit. because it does not detect this right here, because there's no signal's frequency state right here, because the rest of the line has been cut off. Alright then, now we're going to go to the dropper timer. So dropper timers are the same thing as well. The main part is that if you place 2 droppers here with a comparator, facing away from each other, and adding a wrist and then a piston blocks, sticky pistons right there, and by adding these blocks right here with redstone coming out of them, you'll get something like this. And then add the redstone block, and you'll hear detect tick. At this, watch what happens. You'll hear detect again. See? That lights up, but there's something in this one here. So if you put another block in here, watch this. Because look, there's already an object in here. Take that object out, it pushed it back. So this is basically trying to it's known as a so you're basically resetting it. So this is known as a reset timer circuits. So a dropper timer reset circuit is when you have to take an object out of a dropper at a certain time when it stops moving the block around. So when you're trying to test these out, you basically want to detect whether if it detects angular or self-focal friction. Alright. Now, but if you create a comparator like this right here, you're trying to create 2 comparators facing away from each other, and by adding like redstone, or by if you're like adding adding droppers on top of them. No, if you're adding droppers on sides of them, and if you place droppers on them, and if you place a foreign object in here, it turns that on, and same as well. So the whole commonwealth of this is to either turn on, but then add redstone. See how it cuts off? Like, you have to light up with a redstone block and then add a piston to it. And then basically you're doing the same thing again. But the only matter of fact is when both of these turn on, they don't detect nothing. So we call this right here, we call this a vertical, we call it a vertical linear timer circuits. Because when you basically look closely, this right here piston represents a vertical extender, while these 2 here represent a timer circuit that has no ticking movement to it, with no pulse or no clock circuits. Also, redstone timers are not capable in this game. When you try to make a redstone block timer circuit, which involves using the same categories, and then you basically want to add a same block again over and over again, but you don't know which block you want to add, just basically grab a dropper and a hopper and then connect it. Just like this. So if we place an object inside of here, see, I'll show you that again. Watch what happens. The object's been deleted, but it's been transferred over here. Well, that's because it basically is vice versa. See, because we locked it in, so there's no way that piston can move back to itself. So this is known as a locked timer circuit. Basically, the locked timer circuit basically locks any object you place inside of the hopper that's been activated redstone into the same categorized standards. So locked timer circuits. Okay then, let's see what else we have. Another cool thing about this is I'm not sure exactly if command blocks will help because I don't really usually work with command blocks, but I know observers can do something with that. So grab some observers and then grab yourself a redstone torch, and then we're gonna need some. And later on, we'll also be detecting with some minecarts. So we'll need some power rails. Then we'll need some minecarts. All right then. So now basically, an observer can actually detect anything responsible. So an observer is like this. So place the observer here, and then place the block. Place the block here, or place the hopper there. Then place rest. Then no, actually delete that. Place redstone dust here, and then place a dropper beside it. You want to place right here. See that? It detects it. So you want to place a hopper back there, and then in here place see here, place a an object in here, and then for this hopper here you want to place an object in here as well. So when you place an object here, you watch this. Nothing in there yet. See that? When you delete the rest of the block, or if you delete an object, no, or if you delete a redstone block, it basically detects the signal. So this is known as a guided pulse timer circuits. All right. Then material. Then we'll put in material. For material we used was an observer. So it's like a ticking time bomb almost. So there. So we basically detect them with using the guided pulse timer circuits. Alright then. And now for what I'd like to show you next, I'm gonna grab that power thing out. Let's see if minecarts can detect the thing. So firstly, place power rails. You don't have to grab any other rails or detector rails, but we're just gonna see if this detect with minecarts. Then place that facing up, and then place a hopper. Now the hopper is gonna be look like a little weird, so push that minecart out of the way real quick, and then place a hopper like this. Oh, hang on. Here, really? That goes. So place like this, and then push the minecart back. And inside this dropper, place an object. And then for this object here, place any object in here, and place a redstone. Then place an observer on the back, and then place a block. And then place a torch, and then redstone block. But we want to see this. We want to see if this can actually work. So, can it work? Well, kind of. So we basically, this one here is known as a rollback. A rollback. A rollback railed. God, I'm so tired, guys. So a minecart railed a rollback railed timer circuits. First we used material. Material was power rails. So there, that's it. And finally, for this last build, we're gonna be seeing if this can actually use on. And for this last build, we're gonna be using this on. Let's see, what object we haven't used yet. I guess we can use detector rails for this one. So detector rails detect anything that's basically against their uniqueness. So place at least 2 detector rails here, then place a dropper with an observer. Have an observer face there to detect, and then basically add. You basically want to add a block. You want to add a dropper. Then for my hopper, I have to go grab the hopper from one of these here. Yeah. So take the hopper and then connect it in there. Then you get this. And then place the object in there. See how it's in the dropper now? Because we faced the dropper the wrong way. So, that way. And you see? And then if you place the minecart on here, it basically shoots it out. And see that? See that? We want to add redstone torch. So no add a redstone torch, but roll it. And see how it transfers to that inventory as well? It's like a magic trick. So this one here, we call this one Detector timer circuits. Material, detector rails. And there you have it, guys. And those are the basic explanation of timer circuits. So you see, timer circuits can be useful these days. You can actually connect using super stopwatches. For this one right here, like this one right here, we have the hopper timer circuits. Here's another one here. This one involves using the temperature ratio. One here that has the burnout effect and the burnout delay. For this one, freezing timer. This one here involves using non-detectable timer circuits. The reset timer circuits. The vertical linear timer circuits. The lock timer circuits. The guided pulse timer circuits. We have this one here is the rollback rail timer circuits. And this one right here, this is the detector timer circuit. So basically, yeah. So work with these. Anyways, guys, this wraps up for this video. Want to see more, hang down below. I'll get you guys tomorrow at my latest video. See you guys tomorrow.